Is Ubisoft losing touch? That's what I asked myself when watching the Defiant announcement. A game that doesn't seem to do anything new in the already crowded first-person shooter market. Like, is this really what Tom Clancy is now? And while I still think that the reveal was very weak, I did cool down a bit after their financial call, where we got a better idea of what the future plans for the company are, how they are still really investing in regular premium titles, although I do hope that they are not completely abandoning some of the things that we like about Ubisoft. So I want to go in depth on that in this video, including recent delays, the future games they have planned, and way more. If you enjoy these big Sunday videos, then totally leave a like as it shows your support. I will be answering a question at the end of the video as well. And let's go. 80% of Ubisoft's current investments are targeted at premium games, so existing franchises, new IP, and entertainment brands like Star Wars and Avatar, as Daniel on Twitter notes after also listening to the investor call. So they're investing the other 20% currently in free-to-play, so there's still a big difference there, although I do think that 20% is quite a lot, as these games usually cost less to make, and we only know about 3 of them so far: Roller Champions, Defiant, and Division Heartland, versus the many premium titles we know are coming, with of course many unannounced. So this really makes me think that they have a lot more free-to-play projects in the works. Mobile counts under the 20% by the way as well, and we know that there's this Assassin's Creed mobile game in the works, which already surfaced a while back, a Division mobile game also in collaboration with Tencent, and Ubisoft plans to release a free-to-play mobile game in the quarter ending March 31st, 2022, so early 2022, which could be any of these titles or something else. Before we take a look at the core premium games and what the future holds, I think it's interesting to highlight some things about why Ubisoft is making the free-to-play moves, and if we should be worried about that. First of all, I think it's important to know that every big company is exploring this free-to-play model right now. We have Activision with Warzone, EA with Apex, of course, they have been super successful, so Ubisoft wants in on that too. Like, there are some obvious things, of course. Free-to-play reach a way bigger audience, there are way more people who would try a game out for free than pay for it full priced. So more people are going to experience your brand, and that's why we see characters from the Tom Clancy games in Defiant, and of course Division Heartland, which we sadly have no footage of yet. Like, one of the reasons Division Heartland is built is to put Division in front of more people, so they maybe next to Heartland are going to check out Division 2 as well, and DLC for that game. Like, that's what's going on with Call of Duty right now. Because of Warzone, more people get enticed to buy Modern Warfare, making it, with Warzone combined, the highest earning premium game of 2020. I've been saying for a long time now that we get an Assassin's Creed free-to-play game in the future. I think it's obvious, but then a lot of people are like, yeah, but why would they give away a game like that for free? Then less people will buy the full price version. But Call of Duty is now showing that that's not the case. Like, more people engaging with your brand through a free-to-play game actually means more potential buyers for the full priced products. It would be stupid for Ubisoft to not try something like this as well. They started the free-to-play investment 2 years ago, so we're still pretty early, and good to note is that they say that these free-to-play games will be multiplayer titles designed to be evergreen, so that they will stay around for a long time. So I expect a multiplayer Assassin's Creed and Far Cry down the line. But yeah, so far with Hyperscape basically abandoned, just like the Tom Clancy mobile game shutting down after a year, it's not a great start. So like, it really seems that Ubisoft is just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping that something will stick. So yeah, it's not a great look. It will be interesting to see if the other free-to-play titles are more successful. We will, by the way, have dedicated events for each title when the time is right. Roller Champions Division Heartland should launch before April 2022. And Defiant maybe as well, but that depends on how the testing period is going, which starts on August 5th on PC. And of course, really the main reason why they're chasing the free-to-play model is because they want a constant revenue stream. It's more and more risky to make a big full-priced game with development costs rising, the time to make a game like that increasing as well. And what if it then is not a success? Like, like it's not a real safe business. That's why they prefer to have games that bring in money every month, so then even when you have no big release, you still bring in nice money. And if a game fails, like Breakpoint did not do well, but Ubisoft still had a decent year because of the live service games they had. So I get where Ubisoft is coming from as a business, but I would argue that it's far from the best approach. Like Breakpoint was bad because it wasn't a Ghost Recon game anymore. They changed core elements not to make the game better, but to create more playtime per player and more recurring revenue on paper, while Wildlands before it showed that a live service model could still work on a more traditional Ghost Recon experience without all the gear and loot. Forcing us to play every story arc in Valhalla to make the game longer also did not really help with the quality of Valhalla, and Defiant doesn't feel like a Tom Clancy game because it loses the realism and is now like a super fast-paced first-person shooter. People are asking for a Splinter Cell game, but that does not fit Ubisoft's push for recurring revenue, and that sucks that every big project now has to tick that box, which will mean that a lot of people will lose interest in their games over time. And I actually think that EA is doing a great job right now. I know that sounds really weird. I'm totally not a fan of how they monetize their sports games, but next to their live service titles, they also continue to invest in one-and-done games. Star Wars Squadrons could have been a perfect live service title, but no, it did not really get any support and did not launch with microtransactions. Respawn has success with Apex Legends, but is also making Jedi Fallen Order, likely working on Jedi Fallen Order 2, and now also a brand new single-player adventure that they just started. We of course got the Dead Space remake coming, which will not include any microtransactions, while they did of course add them to Dead Space 3. Well, don't worry about EA trying to bring the connected online live service model to Dragon Age. BioWare is building the next Dragon Age as a single-player narrative adventure, just like the previous entries in the series, according to Jeff Grubb on VentureBeat. Like, I really wish that Ubisoft would be bold enough to do this as well. Give the people what they want. It doesn't sound that crazy actually, while you can still monetize the games where it makes sense to support them for a long time. Sure, we got the new Mario and Rabbids game for Switch, although I would not be surprised if Nintendo was like, hey, no microtransactions in this game. And then we also got the Prince of Persia remake, which should look better when we see it again. Should now, by the way, launch before April 2022. But yeah, they for example note that their new IP will be focused on player engagement and social interaction, which we're already seeing with Riders Republic, for example, which they also, by the way, want to support for a long time after launch. Skull and Bones should be similar, although as we discussed in a previous Sunday video, it's not really going all too well with that game. I will leave a link to that at the end of this one. Riders Republic got, by the way, delayed to October 28th, and Rainbow Six Extraction is now launching in January 2022. They got feedback after the E3 reveal, so that's why they decided to give the teams more time, and I do think it's great that Ubisoft has been delaying games more to really make sure that they are more polished at launch. Like Valhalla could have used a delay, for example, but they really have to stop announcing these dates when they are pushing them a month later. Like, just wait until you know for sure that you're gonna hit it. They, by the way, expect Riders Republic to do as well as Immortals last year, and they expect Rainbow Six Extraction to sell better than Watch Dogs Legion, which is kinda telling for the future of Watch Dogs, but I wanna dive deeper into that in a future video. Far Cry 6 will, by the way, still be hitting October 7th. I don't think that's getting delayed, and Ubisoft said it will have a very strong post-launch program, so likely with a ton of free content next to the Villain Season Pass, and I actually think that that makes a lot of sense. Like, I want good reasons to stay longer on the tropical island, and I know a lot of people are with me, but I also want more narrative-focused Ubisoft games that I can finish and be done with. It should not be one or the other. Like, the Bloodline DLC from Watch Dogs was a perfect example of this. It had high-quality writing, cutscenes, linear missions. Like, it was a blast to play through this, and everyone who played it seemed to like it as well. Like, I don't want Ubisoft to lose content like this. They still got it, they showed it with this expansion, but it seems to disappear more and more. But Ubisoft might be looking at Watch Dogs Legion and thinking, hey, that game did not sell very well. I would argue that that's because when it releases, it wasn't that strong. Also, a lot of people did not play the Bloodline DLC, then likely Splinter Cell Blacklist did not sell very well. So maybe we're getting a situation with Mirror's Edge, where EA is making a sequel. When it comes out, nobody cares. I would argue that with Splinter Cell it's likely going to be different. The point is that I think they should still balance it out. Look at the dislike ratio for the X-Defiant reveal. Like, nobody wanted this game. Nobody was like, hey, we need a Call of Duty game with the Tom Clancy characters. They're only really making this because they think it's going to be popular. And I just hope that they have these types of games, but also give what we want. Like, have a more diverse lineup. Like, give us the Assassin's Creed 1 remake, because a lot of people want the older Assassin's Creed style back. I think a remake of the older games would be perfect, and I'm sure we'll see it, but yeah, it's been a really long time. EA made a ton of mistakes before they realized, hey, single player games that you can finish after like 10 hours without microtransactions, that's actually still a lucrative business. So maybe in 5 years we will be sitting here and are like having the same sort of discussion, right, where Ubisoft figures out, okay, maybe the free-to-play market is kind of hard. There are a lot of games here and you have to be really, really good to make like a big impact. Let's go back to the things we did before that people actually enjoyed. Like, EA now also has this random game they showed at their EA Play event. They are bringing Skate back because a lot of people were asking about it. I want Ubisoft to explore the Child of Light era again. Bring Rayman back. Like, there are so many things that are missing right now, but all they're focused on is, can this make us recurring revenue? And I hope that changes over time. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and you can of course also leave a question in the comments down below that I might answer in the next Sunday video. I got a question last week from Luke asking just a different question. What do you think about Assassin's Creed Infinity multiplayer? If you're not familiar, Assassin's Creed Infinity is going to be the next big Assassin's Creed game after Valhalla, but Ubisoft is really saying, hey, this is going to be narrative focused. So what I think, my prediction is going to be that before Infinity, which is likely going to launch at the end of 2024, so it's gonna be a while, that we see a free-to-play Assassin's Creed before that, which is solely multiplayer. Again, all the Ubisoft free-to-play games are going to be multiplayer, so they're gonna make an Assassin's Creed multiplayer game. It's kind of obvious again, so I think that's gonna release before that, and I hope then people are like, okay, so that is the multiplayer game, and when Infinity comes out, that is going to be single player, and the two will have like sort of a season, for example, Ancient Greece, and then we have like multiplayer maps in Ancient Greece. Not sure how that's gonna work, and then we have like a Cassandra story or whatever in Infinity. That is like what I think is gonna happen, that you have like 2 dedicated games, but I will go more in depth on this in the future Sunday video. I will actually be gone on a holiday from this Tuesday to the week after that, so 1 week. We'll be back just in time for the Siege of Paris DLC. Joyce and Dennis will be taking over the videos. That's gonna be really interesting, but I will have a Sunday video prepared. Like, I totally think they're gonna be fine. It's gonna be really cool to see from a distance how that's gonna go. They already made the Siege of Paris trophy video, and we got a lot of good responses on that. So appreciate that, and hope you will keep up the support for the coming videos here. Subscribe for everything. A like on the video would really help me out. And totally check out that previous video on Skull and Bones and what's going on with that game. You can watch that by clicking on the screen. For now, I'll speak to you next time. Goodbye.